Welcome to the deep dive, where we take these complex industry transformations, stack up all the research, and really just give you the strategic shortcut you need.
Right.
Today, we're getting into a huge one. It's the digital transformation in pharma, or as everyone's calling it now, Pharma 4.0.
And this is such a crucial topic, I think, for anyone in the industry, precisely because it moves way beyond the buzzwords.
Totally.
Our mission here is to cut through that jargon and just focus on the strategic value. The sources you've shared give a really comprehensive look at the goals, the measurable benefits, and, the big one, the quantifiable return on investment, the ROI.
Yeah, the actual ROI that, leading companies are seeing right now. We're not talking about some far-off future. This is happening today. These are bottom-line improvements.
Exactly.
So to start, our sources lay out, I think it's 4 foundational areas where Pharma 4.0 is really delivering.
Right.
If you want to get this, you need to understand these pillars.
That's absolutely right. The whole transformation, it really centers on leveraging data to fundamentally improve 4 things. First, you get better decisions.
Okay.
That's coming from vastly improved, real-time visibility across the whole supply chain. Second, and this is huge, lower costs.
How so?
Mostly through AI-driven optimization, automation, and machine-machine communication that just drives down your operational expenses.
Right.
Third is becoming more efficient. That's all thanks to better manufacturing processes that are driven by just meticulous, continuous data collection.
And the last one.
And finally, and maybe most importantly, higher quality. You're guaranteeing it because you're shifting to a seamless, proactive quality assurance model.
It sounds like a complete overhaul, which, it means it's more than just plugging in some new tech.
Oh, absolutely.
It has to be a whole new operating model. Can we just kind of quickly sketch out what that framework looks like?
It has to be holistic, and the foundation is everything. It's data integrity by design. I mean, if your data isn't trustworthy, the whole thing just falls apart.
Of course.
And then on top of that, you have 4 elements. You need to focus on resources, that's your people, training them to be the workforce of the future. You need integrated information systems for that holistic value network integration. You have to rethink your organization and processes.
Right, getting more agile.
Exactly. Agile concepts like the ICH holistic control strategy. And then crucially, you have to address the culture, communication, decision-making. It all has to be fast, transparent, and data-driven.
That immediately points to the biggest hurdle, right? The culture, that process rigidity. But let's start where the benefits really hit first, which is always quality.
Always.
In pharma, quality isn't just a metric, it's the core promise to the patient.
Precisely. And Pharma 4.0 isn't just about making things faster. It's about moving from being reactive to being preventative. Legacy systems were all about reactive quality control.
So checking things after they were already made.
Exactly. Hoping the batch was okay. Digital systems, they flip that completely. They focus on proactive quality assurance, so they spot potential issues before they can even affect a batch.
And the key tech that enables that is process analytical technology, or PAT.
Yeah.
I think this is a really essential concept for our listener to get because it changes the whole definition of quality control and manufacturing.
It changes everything. I mean, before you'd make a whole batch, which could take days, maybe weeks, then you'd test one little sample in a lab and just hope it was representative.
And if it wasn't?
If the sample failed, the whole batch was often gone, compromised, rejected. PAT-lit sensors do real-time checks on critical quality attributes during production.
But it's happening live.
Live. If a temperature drifts, the system sees it and can often self-correct right away. You literally prevent the batch from being compromised in the first place, which means higher yields, fewer rejections, and, well, that's your immediate link to cost savings.
That is a perfect transition because reducing waste, in an industry with such high material costs, that's got to be the quickest path to ROI.
Absolutely. The cost savings are a fundamental and undeniable driver. The data here is pretty solid. Major consulting firms like McKinsey, they show that organizations doing this right can see massive 15 to 30% cost savings.
15 to 30%.
Across their entire business operations.
Wow. That's a staggering figure. Is this only realistic for, the biggest pharma companies, or can a smaller, more specialized firm see those numbers too?
That's the critical question. And while the big players get the headlines, the savings are modular. They're accessible. Just look at the lab. Digitally enabled labs are seeing huge reductions. You can cut chemical QC costs by 25 to 45%.
45%.
And microbiology lab costs by 15 to 35%. A lot of that just comes from automation and cutting out the admin work.
Yeah, can you talk about that? The admin drag? We're talking about highly skilled scientists spending half their day on paperwork.
Exactly. When you automate data collection, the system creates that compliant audit trail instantly. Automation can eliminate up to 80% of manual documentation,
80.
which frees up those highly paid scientists to do analysis and development, not paperwork. Plus, you get robots providing incredible accuracy, running 2047 if you need it, which cuts down labor costs and removes the #1 source of errors, human transcription.
So the third strategic goal here that kind of ties it all together is operational agility. With the industry moving to personalized medicine, smaller batches, flexibility is just a massive competitive advantage now.
Agility is survival. Traditional pharma was built for these huge, rigid batches. Pharma 4.0 demands flexible systems, modular equipment, cloud-based data.
So you can reconfigure on the fly.
Right. If you need to switch from product A to B or scale up capacity like crazy for a health emergency, this agility lets you do that fast while still keeping everything in spec.
Okay, let's zoom in on the manufacturing floor. Let's talk about the numbers that really define operational excellence. For a C-suite exec, there's one metric, right? Overall equipment effectiveness, OE.
OEE is the gold standard. It synthesizes the 3 core elements. Availability, is the machine running? Performance, how fast is it running? And quality, is the output good? It tells you how much value you're really getting from your assets.
And the gap we see between traditional pharma and world-class is what makes this whole thing so compelling.
It's enormous. It really highlights the challenge. Our sources confirm that a typical pharmaceutical manufacturer, their OEE is around 37%.
37. Just think about that. Less than 40% of their maximum possible efficiency is being realized. Why is it so low?
Rigidity. Change control in pharma is so slow and expensive. Every adjustment, every qualification, every cleaning validation is this multi-step, paper-heavy process.
So when a machine stops, it's not a quick fix.
Not at all. The investigation, the requalification, it takes forever. And that just kills your availability. The target for a world-class, digitally enabled Pharma 4.0 plant is to hit 70% or higher OEE.
So you're basically doubling your efficiency.
Pretty much, by cutting those unscheduled stops and shortening changeover times.
Okay, let's make that jump from 37% to 70% concrete. What kind of money are we talking about here?
This is where the numbers get really persuasive. Hitting 70+% OEE, that's like getting 5 or more months of free manufacturing time from the equipment you already own.
Wow.
So sources cite this specific example. For a mid-sized factory, right, operating 16 hours a day, 50 lines, maybe $50 million in initial revenue, making that OEE jump results in potential annual returns of $15 million to $21 million.
Just from using your existing hardware better.
Just by using your data and automation better.
And we have real-world examples. The sources point to Johnson & Johnson's investments.
Yes, J&J reported massive performance gains. They saw a 50% reduction in unplanned downtime, which directly hits that availability piece of OEE. And for time to market, this is incredible. A 90% decrease in product development testing lead times.
90%. That changes the entire competitive landscape. How did they get that kind of speed?
It's the synergy of the data. That tech, like parity and continuous process verification, it means you're proving compliance as you go, not waiting till the end.
So you slash the final testing bottleneck.
Exactly. It's also about better prediction, which leads straight to yield optimization. Analytics lets you run processes closer to their theoretical limits without ever breaking the rules. You maximize recovery, minimize waste.
And central to all that prediction and optimization is the concept of the digital twin. I want to pause here because this is such a fascinating idea.
The digital twin is essentially a sophisticated virtual model of a physical process. Could be one machine, could be a whole factory line.
And it's fed real-time data.
Constantly.
Yeah.
So it lives and breathes right alongside the actual operation. It lets you simulate and optimize processes. You know, try a new cleaning protocol or stress test a change in raw materials.
Without ever touching the real production line.
Exactly. All without risking or disrupting actual operations. It's like a flight simulator for your factory.
That saves millions in test batches and requalification time. And the end result of all this automation, this predictive control, is a huge measurable drop in quality deviations.
Absolutely. Automated monitoring, AI-driven QC, real-time alerts. They just reduce the frequency and severity of deviations. And that's a huge cost saving, not just in a rejected product, But in labor, you're not spending all that time on investigations and corrective actions. The system just catches the little shifts, the early warnings, before they become failures.
Right. Speaking of systems, let's talk about compliance and risk. Audits, historically, were these slow, paper-intensive nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
Auditors wading through warehouses of binders. How does Pharma 4.0 speed up compliance?
It turns compliance from a burden into just a byproduct of good manufacturing. The key is digital documentation, especially electronic batch records, or EBRs.
Right.
They give you immediate, complete access to all the production and quality data for a batch release. This is crucial. It speeds up time to market because the review time is slashed.
And the continuous verification means less end product testing is needed anyway?
Right. The regulator is no longer hunting for a needle in a haystack. They're assessing a comprehensive digital trail instantly.
So it's a huge confidence booster for them, I imagine.
It completely transforms inspections into data-driven assessments.
Mhm.
Auditors get immediate access to complete, unalterable documentation.
Yeah.
It doesn't just cut down the audit time. It improves the whole perception of your readiness and data integrity. That confidence reduces your risk of getting, warning letters or consent decrees.
Which can paralyze a company.
Financially and reputationally, yeah.
Let's turn to proactive risk management, specifically product recalls. Every pharma company's worst nightmare.
Digital transformation gives you preventative tools here. First, predictive maintenance. That cuts your risk of equipment failure and reduces maintenance costs by a solid 15 to 25%.
Fewer breakdowns, less risk of contamination.
Simple as that. Second, and maybe even more powerful, is supply chain visibility. Using IoT sensors, maybe blockchain, you get end-to-end traceability of every ingredient, every single product.
So if a quality issue does pop up somewhere down the line, the benefit is you can pinpoint exactly which products were affected.
That is the critical difference. No more massive, costly blanket recalls.
Right.
This traceability lets you do highly targeted recalls. You can say, only pull products made between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. on line 3 last Tuesday. It minimizes the disruption, protects the brand, and most importantly, it protects patients.
We've covered the financials, the hard operational metrics, but we started by saying this is a holistic change. Let's talk about the people, the workforce.
The human element is paramount. It's so often underestimated. When AI and automation take over the routine, repetitive tasks, human roles evolve.
They move up the value chain.
Exactly. They shift away from manual execution towards strategy, complex problem solving, data analysis, innovation. It's just a much more engaging role.
But that requires a massive investment in people first and reskilling them. What's the ROI on that?
It pays off in talent retention. Companies that really prioritize reskilling their current staff, training them on the new tools instead of just replacing them, they report a huge 25% increase in employee retention.
25% is a lot.
It is. And they also see a corresponding 15% improvement in operational efficiency. It just proves that investing in your workforce is the best way to secure your business performance.
So if we look beyond the hard cash, what are the critical, intangible benefits here?
The intangibles are often where the greatest long-term strategic value is. The first is regulatory confidence. Just having that enhanced data integrity and being audit-ready 24/7, it reduces the risk of those huge fines and warning letters. That's massive psychological relief for the C-suite.
And second, it has to be about brand reputation and trust.
Exactly. Consistent quality, fewer recalls, protects your market share, and it supports premium pricing. A solid reputation is impossible to replicate quickly. And finally, these digital platforms are essential for innovation enablement.
How so?
Well, they support the rapid development of totally new products like personalized medicines, cell, and gene therapies, and they unlock new business models that old infrastructure just could never handle.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive. So we've seen Pharma 4.0 provides this holistic stack of benefits. You've got the measurable financial returns, those stunning 15 to 30% cost savings, a potential 5-fold ROI on compliance. We've covered the huge operational excellence gains, especially that jump in OEE from a typical 37% to a target of 70% or more. And we've detailed the strategic intangible value from workforce retention to brand trust.
I think the key takeaway when you pull all these sources together is this. The benefits of Pharma 4.0 show the digital transformation. It's not just some optional project to save a bit of money.
It's a strategic imperative.
It is. It fundamentally enhances the industry's ability to serve patients, to maintain leadership, and to create capabilities like the digital twin that are just really, really difficult for competitors on legacy systems to copy quickly. The cost of not transforming is now far greater than the cost of implementation.
Absolutely fascinating. That level of strategic transformation is just, it's incredibly compelling. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive.